Shalom, children. Our story continues today with Yeshua in Yerushalayim during the appointed time of Pesach. Yeshua did many miracles whilst in the city, and many saw them and believed them to be a sign that he was sent by Elohim. One of the Pharisee leaders was called Nicodemus. When it was dark in the evening, he came to visit with Yeshua. Perhaps he didn't want the other Pharisees to see him spending time with him. After all, Yeshua had caused quite a commotion driving out the merchants. And then there was all that talk about destroying the temple and rebuilding it in just 3 days. Nicodemus told Yeshua that the leaders knew he must be a teacher sent from Elohim. If Elohim was not with him, he would not be able to do all the signs they were witnessing. Yeshua told him only those who had been born from above were able to have the eyes needed to see and understand the reign of Elohim. Nicodemus didn't understand these words and how it was possible for a grown man to be born a second time. But Yeshua wasn't talking about becoming an actual baby and learning how to eat, walk and talk all over again. Nicodemus was a Torah scholar, and Yeshua told him that he should know from the writings he had studied that a person is not to live by just eating, working, sleeping, and all the other things we have to do in life. But we need to make sure we also pay attention to the spiritual part of ourselves, or we won't be able to enter in to the reign of Elohim. For example, have you ever been playing a game and you were concentrating so much that you didn't hear mother or father calling you? Now, there's nothing wrong with free time, but our ears have to be available to hear our parents' instructions. So too, throughout our lives, we live and grow and do all the things we need to do to have a healthy life. But we have to have our spiritual eyes and ears open to hear our Heavenly Father's instructions and obey them. Yeshua told Nicodemus that Elohim loved the world so much, he gave his only brought forth Son, so that everyone who believes in him should not perish, but possess everlasting life. He told him Elohim had sent his Son, that through him the world might be redeemed. Believing and following the Son is to walk the way of Torah, which brings life. The gift we would have is everlasting life with Elohim. Yeshua explained to Nicodemus that sadly, people love darkness rather than light, because it is easier to hide wicked behaviors in the dark. Everyone doing sinful things hate light, because when the light shines on them, their evil works are revealed. What a wonderful opportunity it was for Nicodemus to have some private time with Yeshua and be able to ask him lots of questions. Can you think of anything that you might have wanted to ask him? Yeshua and his taught ones left Yerushalayim, but stayed in the area of Yehudah. Many began to follow his teachings and were mikvahed by the disciples. The Pharisees heard that Yeshua was immersing more taught ones now than Yohanan, so Yeshua decided to travel toward the Galilee region. His journey took him through the area of Shamaron or Samaria. As they traveled, Yeshua became weary from the journey and stopped at a well. Just outside, a very old city in Samaria called Shechem. It is written in the Torah that Abraham passed through the land to Shechem as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. It was there that Adonai appeared to Abraham, telling him he would give the land to his descendants. Abraham had then built an altar to Adonai. Sometime later, Jacob came to the city of Shechem and pitched his tent before the city. He bought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent for 100 pieces of money. He too built an altar there. Sometime later, Jacob asked his son Joseph to go to Shechem. He wanted him to check on the other brothers who had taken the flocks there to feed. When he found the brothers, do you remember what they did to him? They sold him to some traders who were on their way to Mitzrayim. We can then read in the book of Joshua that the city of Shechem was provided as a city of refuge, and when Joshua and the children of Israel came into the land, they brought with them the bones of Joseph and buried them at Shechem, in the same plot of ground which Jacob had bought many years earlier. And here we are at the end of our story, just as Yeshua himself arrives at the same place with all that history. I wonder if he thought about all the faithful men who had visited there years before. Next time, we will hear more about what Yeshua did during his time in the city. So join us then, when we will continue our exciting journey in the life of Yeshua. Shalom.
Come to him, the cornerstone, rejected by man, but chosen by Yah. Be joined to him like living stone.